Hello, everybody, and welcome to Match Day 4 recap of Division 2B of Gman. With me today is my usual co host, Lord Wu. Say hello, Wu.
Hello, Woo.
And also, we have a special guest, which is Aldar. Say hello, Aldar.
Hello, people.
No, that's not okay. We actually, uh, um, and
Can't use the same joke twice, so.
no. Although there's a certain humour in repetition. But anyway, and we also have Gruff, who's bored at work, so he actually asked me to stream a game that I had to play this morning against Lady Killjoy. So there has already been a game played this week, and it's entirely my fault, and I'm not sorry.
You're honest.
Yeah,
So
I like getting the games out of the way really quick. Playing as soon as possible, given the choice. So there you are. None of this, gamesmanship and waiting till the last minute and seeing what advantage is best and stuff. Just play. Anyway, so Alda, I got it completely wrong last week when I said I thought you were relatively new. You've been playing for a while.
Well, I've been playing since the 90s on and off. I played tabletop back then for a few years.
Was that second edition, or did you start in third edition as well? The one with the polystyrene board, or the
No, I sniffed to the second edition, but started really in the third edition.
Okay.
But then my life took me around the world, so I started moving around, and well, then it became a bit of a problem. So I had to sell everything I had, even also my Warhammer figures, so couldn't carry them along. And then I started playing on computer when Blood Bowl 1 came out. Played there for quite a bit, and work took me out to different things, and then I started here again in Blood Bowl 2. And then came back here to Blood Bowl 2 after a while and found Rebbl, and well, now I'm goddamn enjoying it again.
Cool. You having fun with your chores?
Yes, they bring a smile to my face. And you can quote me on that, and you can also call me an asshole afterwards, because yes.
Well, there goes my my theory about bashy coaches often are nicer in person because they have to make up for the evil.
Oh hell no! I don't differentiate in anything. I hate everybody equally.
Yeah, exactly. It's a true egalitarianism. But anyway, should we carry on with the matchups? And I do actually, I've managed to get clips from every single game this week, which was partly to do with me getting the time zone incorrect when I was arranging the time and having an hour extra time before we started. But so we'll start with the Orchally Ridiculous against Hell's Doofuses game. Now, the clip that I've got from this, he says not remembering because he actually did this a while ago, is turn 7. And the orcs look like they're stalling a little bit. I've totally forgotten what's going on here. Orchally get the Ripper and got the Whipper and Wizard. The first like half of the first quarter is just hitting.
Yeah, that double skull was painful.
Orcs to wild. Oh, the orcs stall for longer than I'm comfortable with. So this stall is, basically a little bit open,
Very.
Yeah, I wouldn't have stalled
just
here.
Just a GFI to hit him. Dodge and a GFI to hit him.
But first, let's kill Edward Norkton, the dirty player block orc.
Straight dead.
Yeah. And then hit the ball. And this is turn 7, so even with Fend, Oh, actually, yeah. So I think I show the next. Yeah, I do. I show turn 8 as well, and the orcs obviously. Oh, actually, no. So I don't think the blitz is right. I think they should have blitzed the player off the ball, or blitzed the beast.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I
That's a
think,
lot of
well,
movement.
all the orcs might have gone into, well, no, I'm just trying to remove because there's been a lot of dice to get it away. But I would also have gone for the guy standing on the ball and just get him away.
Yeah. Ending up resulting in a a fail to dodge out, let alone a pickup. But yeah. Maybe you're right. Maybe in fact sometimes it is the best plan to just get the hitting in. I think the Chaos did the Chaos not have any bench? So the Orcs had one bench, but only because Ripper existed. Oh, and the Chaos had 2 bench, but a lot of KOs.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think there were an awful lot of KOs. I think there were basically Chaos, even with the Claw Mighty Blow, didn't get a single Kaz. It was all KOs.
Yeah.
Let's
12 KOs and zero injuries.
Yeah, 12 KOs. It's ridiculous.
Actually, it was ridiculous.
Actually ridiculous.
You might as well throw the pun in if
Yeah.
if it's there.
In fact, let's have a quick look. Yeah, so like the Orcs getting 20 armor breaks and the Chaos getting 16 as well.
Yeah. 31 blocks and 21 armor breaks for the orcs.
Yeah.
In favor of the orcs. That's, yeah.
And well, 50 blocks for the Orcs and 37 for the Chaos. I think the Chaos.
Oh, wrong game.
I think the Chaos had sorry, I think the Orcs had a massive strength and guard advantage. Is that right? It's always good to be prepared for this. Yeah, the Orcs were a lot stronger. But basically, yeah, just got KOs throughout the whole game.
I think that's the biggest problem, that he basically just got KOs, and there's a possibility they came back and, well, 2 orcs died and 5 orcs were injured. They're not coming back.
Yeah, the 2 dead ones, and like one was a Black Orc guard blocker as well. And obviously we saw the. I think. Wait a second. Do I have the? Oh yes. So I actually have another clip from that game. No spoilers. Shush about the Black Orc. This might be entirely related to what you just said. So Ripper, who spent a large portion of the first half KO'd, I think gets injured on the first block of the second half. He regens, but it still means I think this drive takes the whole 8 turns. So basically, Ripper was hardly in the game. Maybe he was like in the game for 3 or 4 turns, which is not very much. And then here we have the guard Black Orc being hit with Claw Mighty Blow piling on. And it's just a stun. No, it's not. He dead. And he's properly dead. Oh. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's the other clip I have for this game is basically the 2 orcs dying, and Ripper not being in the game for a lot of the game. Sorry. Go on.
That's a good amount of inducement money spent on 4 turns.
Yep. It's like 290 TV for Ripper, or 310. I always forget which side of 300 it is. It's 10 away from 300. But in fact, the Chaos actually scored on turn 12. But then on the kickoff the Orcs get in the last quarter of the game, Chaos get a blitz. So
that's rough. And
Yeah.
also, well, Chaos did 2 successful passes.
Yeah, I think
That's also quite decent, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's actually more vanity passes than most elves have done in this division.
Oh,
Not calling you out or anything, but
Me? What? I've
No,
you...
all the elves
Oh,
sitting on the
okay.
stream.
Yeah. As opposed to you know, I've had two.
Ramset's listening.
Well, Ramset's hardly an elf. Although he does have some elfy ghouls. He
He's not playing undead, Ramset. He's playing elves.
Oh, is he?
Playing undead in clan.
No, other way around. He's playing undead here.
Nope.
No, he's
What? Am I?
high elves.
He's playing high elves.
Ramaset.
Yeah.
Ramaset. Oh, sorry. I was thinking about Gruff. I'm you know, clearly half asleep. Don't know what happened. Anyway, fine. Talk amongst yourselves then. Yeah, no. Gruff is playing undead. That's what I was thinking about. Anyway, yeah. The orcs, the chaos get quite a good haul of SPP. He says, moving swiftly on. 20,
Yeah.
20,
19?
19, yeah.
20? Yeah, no, 20.
Yeah, 20. Hurrah! I was right first time. Well, that was shambolic description of a game. Should we move on to the next one? Hopefully, it'll be more. What's the word? Make more sense. Oh, and that was my game. So yeah, did you? I actually streamed this. Was it straight after last week's recap? Were you watching Aldar as well? And Woo, yeah.
Yeah, I saw some of it, just a little.
What did you think about it?
I think I saw 2 turns.
Oh, okay.
Then kids, you know.
Yeah. Same for me.
Game of the week.
Game of the week. Actually, so I think the game of the week was Sandland versus Ramaset.
Yep.
It was the actual game of the week. But yeah, I do have 2 clips from my game. One of them is the turn 7. So this is kind of a bit long, but I wanted to get the move into it as well. So it's the turn 7 where so I've already scored on my drive, and the Khemri are pushing down the side to score on try and score on their turn 8, and they roll all the dice so they take a GFI fairly early on that fails. No, not that one. So the Tomb Guardian gets forward 2 GFIs. After then the Throw Ra goes forward. Does he make a GFI as well? No, he doesn't. Okay, so the Blitz Ra goes forward to cover the Throw Ra, and he makes a GFI and fails. Rerolled. So he's already a scoring threat, but he makes another GFI just to be sure. I'm moving my mouse around on the replay in the hope of moving the screen around, but it's not doing anything. Then another Tomb Guardian. Was that a GFI as well? Yep.
All the dice. Holy smokes.
Yeah, and then Throw Ra making a throw to the other Throw Ra, who catches on a 4+. And then a Dirty Player Foul, just to round off the turn. And I think my turn's pretty quick coming back, which was a little bit of moving around, and then a push play to push the Blitzer out of range to push the Throw Ra out of range and hit the Blitzer at the same time to make him out of range and also based and also on the floor in the end. But a push would have been probably all right because of the basing around. And then Thurnlow actually goes for quite a big push play from here after I've finished moving around. So he tries to dodge through a tackle zone with I think the Blitz Ra to fill up the space behind the catcher so that he can hit him with the Tomb Guardian and then blitz him into my Blitzer, which will then give him chain pushes back up, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And I red dice. Oh wait, no, yeah. So he goes for the dodge in front of the catcher, across the catcher, and then he's going to hit with the Tomb Guardian, and to push the catcher on the other side of where he dodges to, and then blitz with the laying down Blitzerar into the Tomb Guardian that's standing up next to my Blitzer, who will then push back to push the catcher after spaces are filled around them.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah. It's four blocks, all needing to be pushes, except for the last one that needs to, can be a push pow. After he makes an attempt at a 5+ dodge, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Whereas my idea was to if you just hit the catcher, you can push the Tomb Guardian forward 1 square, and then he's in range. And I didn't actually do the maths about it, but I was talking to Thurnlow afterwards, and he said that my push of the Tomb Guardian was like 10% better. But that was still a 15% play as opposed to a 5% play or something. Thurnlow was annoyed at himself for it. I mean, I don't think it was a bad. I forgot to put this on. Oh, no, not that one. I forgot to put it on repeat in case anybody wants to watch it again. It's a bit long, isn't it? Forget it.
Wrong one.
Yep. I know. I pressed it right straight away.
But then again, he shouldn't be annoyed. It was 2 plays that had low chance of success, and it's just as we talked about just shortly before that. When you sit in a game, there's always a fun part about Blood Bowl is that you often see different plays when you're watching the game or if you're sitting in the game.
In fact, no. It's a lot easier to see plays when you're not playing than when you are playing.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, in fact, it's a lot easier to see plays of your opponent even when you are playing than it is to be the person looking at your own team, I think, even.
Yeah, and often you also see, you see one play and the other guy sees another play, and they are fairly equal in chance to get a good result, and which one is then the correct one?
Yeah.
That's always the question. You tend to often see that, my play might be a better one, but he thinks that his is a bit better. Let's say, this one's 10% is a bit, but maybe a 5% difference in chances or something like that.
I mean, I quite often tell people they should be making 2 GFIs rather than a 3+ dodge, but the difference between the two is 3%. So, it's not that big a deal sometimes when and it's 3% where you're more likely to end up using a reroll with the with the 2 GFIs than if you're just doing a 1. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, but there's also a different thing there because the 3+ and 2 GFI is basically the same, but we're also coming into something they call dice lock. That one of them you're only rolling 1 dice, and the other one you're rolling 2 dices.
Yeah, and I like doing that thing of like looking back at the dice and going, oh, if I'd have done the other thing, it would have worked. But it's a complete fallacy to see a 2 and go, oh, if I'd have made those GFIs, it would have worked. But you don't know what the dice are going to be when you're doing stuff, so you've just got to go for the best idea that you can think of.
And to quote a Rebbl meme, that's not how dice work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Gambler's fallacy. But I mean, also, and that's just on the kind of, that's a very micro level. On the the macro level of Blood Bowl, whether you're what you're doing in turn 4 and how hard you're pushing or which side you move by a couple of squares, which aren't even dice rolls, can have a massive influence on the game later. And that's the kind of that's where people's opinion and choices. There isn't a right answer, is there? There's lots of things where it's not about the right answer. It's you just got to play your game.
Yeah. Exactly.
Thurnlow did also check the dice log. So what I was just saying about checking the dice, and I think the Tomb Guardian chain didn't work. So he thought it would the first time when he was talking about it, but he would have failed the penultimate handoff or something because he was mismoving the dice around a little bit. So when we talked a little bit about it, we talked about it a bit after the game. We like PM'd each other a bit, but yeah. So it wouldn't have worked, but it would have got further, and it would have been a slightly better chance. But still, both plays were bad, and I'm pretty happy with my defence of that game. Oh, I have a feeling I've got another clip, but the other clip is massive and long. And basically, what I've done is I've just recorded a lot of the second half and then fast forwarded through the turns. And I want to see what people think of you can see the kind of shape of the movement of the turns without actually, the individual dice. But basically, you can see that I think Thurnlau doesn't move forward enough and gets kind of pinned into a corner in the second half, and I'm gonna stop fast forwarding it at the point where it's really important. But I feel like he could have made himself more space and been less compact, which would have made it harder for me to defend. And so it's actually turn 13 or so, and the Khemri still really have to push at this point because they need to get through this, and they've got a lot of slow players who are not going to be able to form a cage past my wall of green jumpy men. And some players at the back are kind of getting slowed down. That Tomb Guardian who's stunned on the floor, there are a couple of those where Tomb Guardians got stunned, and I think it was a pretty massive effect on the game. And I think that probably had a big effect on the slowness of him going forward as well. But I do have quite a lot of Mighty Blow as well now, so and I think I was a bit unlucky with. I actually make leap attempts in this half, or no, I intended to. So this turn 14 for me was not the greatest in terms of dice. Admittedly, I decided to open up with a. So I think his position's okay, right? He's bit based.
But he left that Tomb Guardian completely on an island, like a free hit. But
yeah, but it was a 1 dice, and the 1 dice happened to be a 1 in 9 skull into both down, and then my next dice was 2 skulls. So I was planning on leaping in and hitting the ball, but didn't actually even get a chance to.
That is again. Well, he based it up for a 1 die. Then you come into this with being a bash coach. Sometimes you are using those to set up this 1 die because either the other person is going to use several people to get 2 dice there, and he doesn't have enough to block you or anything. So it's a risk you take to avoid him moving a lot of people.
That's a good point.
It's also what you said with the moving about the he moved too late. I agree. He started moving up the field, and again, being a Chorf coach, you're not moving that fast.
Yeah.
If you just run ahead, you don't have any blockers to help you, and then you're going to do bad. It's not going to happen, and that's a problem also because most bash teams are slow. Well, at least some, like Chorf and Dwarfs and everything.
Yeah.
And they basically need to at least move 1 or 2 squares every single turn to avoid getting into a position where they can't reach it, or they need to do a lot of DFI.
Yeah. Yeah, especially Dwarfs and Nurgle as well. But I was also quite lucky because that agility Kislev frog on the floor, he was hit, piled on, and fouled, and his armor didn't break, and he's the one who sacks the ball. Without him, I wouldn't have had a ball recovery chance. I would have had to use one of the other players, who was doing other things, and I would have had to use the catcher to do one of the things that the other players were doing. So it really helped me. But also, he rolled a 1 dice before that and was making GFIs before that could have failed equally. Sorry, you about to say something, Rui?
No. Oh, nice sack.
Mhm.
That's why I hate Kislev. They should die.
You'll be happy to hear they often do.
See you in week 12.
Yeah. Well, basically, my run in at the moment is like 4 games of elves, and then 4 games of bash, and then Skaven, who are a little bit of both. So I've got a recovery. I've got 4 games of recovery before you, undead, and who else? Is that when I play Yorick as well, and Ant-Man? So yeah, and yeah, the Kislev do die quite a lot too, like a lot. But yeah, I feel like I deserve to win that game. But of course, like that's what most coaches feel like after most games, because they know what their own plans are. They don't know what their opponents are. And I got 1 level, which was the guard catcher, and he's now got dodge.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. In division, there's not that much tackle.
Yeah. See, the funny thing is, I actually my plan originally was to not get any dodge except on the catches. And I've had a few chance, like the blitzers could have rolled dodge, could take dodge just naturally, and there are some doubles on linemen. But I vaguely assumed that towards the top of the division there'd be loads of tackle, and dodge doesn't come worth as much, and I'll just be wasting loads of TV on dodge. But actually, there's been enough times where people have been hit by defender stumbles, and dodge would have really helped. That I've reconsidered my plans. Yep, sorry.
Now we're going in, and now you have your team up on the
Yep.
screen. It's a damn good-looking Kislev team.
It's the weird thing about Kislev, it's a bit like Nurgle. It doesn't matter how high your TV is. I'm at like 220.
Embrace the bloat.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I could still see another like 20 levels I'd really like to have, and I'd like to have 4 blitzers, please, and I'd quite like another catcher. And ignore this catcher down the bottom here. I've played my game already and bought him before the game and leveled him in the game, and now have movement 8. So that's quite a nice thing. Try and build a 1-turner. But yeah, the 2 Agi ups are my 2 favourite players. Like, people talk about the plus strength being quite good, but I much prefer the safety of a 2+ leap to a 3+ leap.
Well, I would say if you look at the strip ball with Agi and the strip ball with strength, they are both damn beastly because they have both different uses for leaping into a cage.
Yeah.
And sacking.
So basically, I have the choice of, do I go in with the 3+ and probably have 2 dice, or do I go in with the 2+ and probably have 1 dice? But
yeah, exactly. Or if they have a strength 4 ball carrier, you also have a choice of a red dice or 1 dice.
Yeah, it really
So here's my offer to all: kill that strength 4.
Well, as I said,
For your game, right?
I'm fine with the strength 4 being the one that gets killed. Don't kill the Agi. I really like having plus Agi players, but the strength one, have fun.
Damn it! I bountied the wrong one. I think it was Kermit I bountied.
Yeah, didn't you take it in turns? You took Kermit, and Ramaset took. Or the other way around. Yeah, Ramaset took Kermit, and you took Genandi, or the other way around. I can't remember.
Yeah, something like that.
I still, my intention was to bounty, a player from each team. I still haven't actually finished picking players yet. We're almost a third of the way through the division. But anyway, that's enough about my team. And Thurnlau didn't get any levels, but I don't think anyone died of note either. So I was really hoping to kill his dirty player more than anything, or one of his Agis would have been nice. But yeah, he plays really. He always plays really well. So, but Kislev against Emery.
Yeah, it's a fun matchup, and it is a division of good coaches, and you can see it on all the draws that has been.
Yeah.
it's fairly even matched. It's basically dice on a good day and you win, and else it's fairly equal.
Yeah, I mean it's very close. I mean the number of teams who have the middle of the division appears to be pretty much entirely draws and no wins, which is intriguing.
Lizardman and me and Nurgle. It's an orcs.
Yeah, we've had a few weeks of 4 draw weeks. This week there's only 2, so a slight improvement.
Yeah, is that a new low?
Yeah, that's the lowest we've managed so far, I think.
Yeah.
Oh no, there were 2 last week as well. Sorry.
But should we move on to the next match?
Yep, sure. So the next match is the Sandland versus Ramesset one, which was the highlight of the week, I think.
I called that one too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Did you? Was it you? Someone said Ramesset can't keep winning forever, and Sandland can't keep losing forever. Was that? I think that was you, Wu.
No, someone else said that in
Okay.
chat. I don't remember who it was. But
Okay.
yeah.
But yeah.
But just if you look at the match statistic here, 6 armor breaks versus 19. It already says something.
Yeah. And I mean, actually, they were both playing pretty bashily. Sandland played in a similar style to when he played against me, where he left a lot of players based up with the kind of forcing people to have to either dodge out or sometimes it means he got hit back a bit more, but he was then getting three hits instead of 2, and then he'd get hit back in extra time, and then he'd get 4 hits the next turn and stuff. So it kind of multiplied up a little bit. But unlike against Mike Kislev, it actually kind of worked at slowly removing players, I think. Although let's start with the first clip. Is actually I think it's the turn. It's early. Oh no, it's turn 7. Oh yeah, this is so the Brett started with the ball, cage up, slowly move forward. The High Elves, I think, have lost 2 or 3 players at this point. Yeah, 3 players. And they do the dodge into the cage and then leap into the cage for a 1 dice ball. Oh no, 2 dice ball sack. Which is that plus strength blitzer is so hard to deal with.
It's insane. It's again Ramesset, damn good team with a 1-turner and legend and 1-turning legend and everything.
Yeah. And a plus agi guard player now. I don't think he was plus agi before, was he? So that's that means some pretty sick ball sacking plays.
No.
And then the throw over catch. So that was there was a catch blitzer in between who could have rolled had 2 chances to roll a 6 for the intercept. But one of the things that the main reason I picked this clip is because Sandland could have gone for the ball pickup and handoff now. There's no tackle zones really in the way. There's no reason for him not to actually do the pickup. But instead, he goes for a blockless block with a peasant. And I think this kind of underlines his plan was more about trying to remove players than it was about, scoring. And especially with the 1-turner sitting on the side, the natural 1-turner sitting on the side, I guess, not scoring is the same as scoring and then being 1-turned against, if that makes sense. Except the KOs, that there are less chances of the KO rolls to come back, right?
It's again a thing as a bash coach. If you start with the ball and you're KOing a lot, not injuring, and you remove the bench, you said, does it pay off for me to score on turn 8 and give him a 1-turn chance, and then have him give 2 KO rolls? Does he have a Bay or not? Would it be better for me to just have him 7 players on the field for the second half and then steal instead?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And from the comments that Sandland made after the game, I'm not sure that was entirely his thought process, because he, the way he said, oh, maybe it was better. He said afterwards, maybe it was better he hadn't scored, but it sounded from his wording like it wasn't really him planning to not score because of the KOs so much as it worked out in the end type thing.
But just looking at this play from Ramesset, that's a sick play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dodge in for the guard, the leap in, and then just the edgy 5 saying, "Screw you, my ball."
I mean, the positioning from both sides in both halves was really good in terms of like the ball being as far away from sacking threats as possible. I think that was as far as Sandland could have safely caged without and the two players who sacked the ball both had to make a GFI in that play. So it wasn't really easy. They weren't really close by. It wasn't very straightforward. And in fact, maybe it was a little bit of a last-ditch attempt. What with it being, turn 7. But yeah, so the other clip I have is another one where I'm going to like fast forward it. Basically, it's turn 11 and Ramesset hits one of Sandland's blitzers, and gets a KO. And Sandland echoes it, and this is huge, I think. Now, when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, that removal was terrible." And when he echoed it, I was like, "Oh, I think that's a really good choice." But then watching the replay back a bit longer, so I think I fast forward through this. Like he gets the ball safe first, so I don't fast forward through it. But there's like a peasant in a tackle zone who has to go through loads of tackle zones to even get anywhere near the ball, and that's the only player who's could reach the ball. Then there's a couple of... Then obviously there's a turn later, or 2 turns, and I fast forward, and the ball's now over to the other side, and this is where Sandland lightning bolts the part of the screen to make a hole, which, helpfully is the plus strength blodger who gets Kaz by the lightning bolt, and then is able to blitz in with the plus strength frenzy of his own to get a 2, possibly 4 or 6 dice on the ball carrier if needs be. And the reason I started the clip, obviously, when the blitzer was appoed, is because it's that appoed blitzer who picks up the ball after the sack. So it's like it shows how a decision 2 turns ago to keep the player on the pitch turns this from basically a free ball, which the Brett can't really make safe without that blitzer lying on the ground, into a very safe play with a blodge stepping fend ball carrier. But yeah, and that was also I was chatting to Gruff a little bit today, and that was kind of like Gruff thinks the lightning bolt was obviously the pivotal turning point in the game. I think Ramesset said in Discord chat that it was the point that, this was the before then it had been very stressful, but that was the turning point.
That was well played by Sandland. That's really decent. Yeah, I agree with the Appo. It's an aggressive Appo, and you often see that from some people in the start of second half. Haven't I used my Appo? I can use it on KO if I want to win. You can often see, had Sandland not Appo'd that one, I would say, well, he's just trying to survive with his team, and he's okay if he loses. But he's showing that he's going for it. I want to win this.
Yeah. And his team's pretty healthy, so I do think that maybe your thought processes are affected by how healthy your team is, and you or how much your team has died recently. So I my Kislev die a lot, so I actually almost I would never use the Appo on a KO because I'd be scared to lose a really useful player afterwards. And winning,
But a question. Yes, the ball is alone. He doesn't have much up front, and he's blitzing the ball carrier here. But try and notice what he could. 2 GFI, he could have served the 1-turner.
Yeah. That's interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, the person who's standing by the 1-turner, he could have based the ball, and then he could put a blitzer behind it, and he could have served the 1-turner.
Would you rather surf? You know.
Oh, my greed might have.
Yeah, I was like thinking.
But again, as one turner is a silly piece. Here he's going straight for the win, but the other one would be, well, this one is one that can win the game for him a lot of times. It's always a question.
I think this is a.
I would say Sandland did the right play, but
yeah, I think it's a choice.
The other one would be tempting.
Yeah, the other way around would be the right play in the first half, if the one turner was actually on the pitch, you know, that early. It's interesting. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, so he's not a totally bash coach. He's still focusing on the ball over killing people. is what we can take away from that. But yeah, you're right. Easily that peasant could have based the ball. The ball wouldn't have had that many choices about where to go afterwards, and you could have frenzied. I mean, he failed the first GFI, so we don't really know if he'd have picked push. What the you know, the next. No, but we know the next last roll would have been. He picked it up. He picked it up fine. But yeah,
it's just one thing I noticed here, just because everybody's been talking about that one turn, and it needs to die at some point.
Yeah, well, I get my chance next week.
Yeah, I failed.
Come on, Kermit.
Yeah, everyone's cheering for Kermit now. Okay, cool. There were lots of levels in this game, so the high elves actually made 4 passes. I think I'd say they were all vanity passes, maybe. Oh, maybe not all vanity passes, but the one turner made a pass. So I guess that's not a vanity pass because you know he can't get any more levels. And the wrestle lineman made a pass, and the thrower made a pass and got plus movement. So he's now like a.
Ramaset, stop this.
I mean, to be fair, Ramaset's only really rolled, you know, 4 stat ups, and they're basically the same stat ups as I've rolled. So you can't really, you know, it's not unfair.
Yeah, 3 stat up and 3 movements.
Yeah, well, he bought 2 of the movements though. That's the problem.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, that's that.
Well,
that's
one of his guard pieces being out for the next game is actually quite good for the next opponent.
Not just out. Oh no, he was just next out. I thought he got niggled, but okay, yeah. Yeah, just badly. Just missed next game. And also, well, actually, if he did vanity passes, why didn't he vanity pass with the 2 5 SPP linemen? I don't know. And Sandland got 2 levels as well. The piling on killer blitzer now has jugs.
No, blocker.
Blocker. Sorry, yeah. But, you know, the killer, the proper killer. And he's also got another guard. But yeah, I didn't watch the game live, but it looked like a good game from the replay. I'll say that much.
So again, we maybe call it an upset, but again, the division is so close. In the end, it's not an upset, but it's basically top versus bottom, so it's a bit of an upset.
Yeah, it's an upset if you only consider the last 3 games. But you know, Sandland is a coach, you know, as good as Ramaset, and the team is basically as good as the High Elves. It's, you know, it's just I think it's more a case of Sandland's had you know, some bad luck with his first few games rather than he doesn't deserve to be you know, at the bottom where Gruff is now. And Gruff also said in the chat, by the way, that I think the one turner got surfed the next turn or the turn after that. So you know, I think I remember the next turn the High Elves actually got a dub skull or something fairly early on in their turn, so a lot of them didn't have a chance to react.
Nice.
Yeah. that's about it for that game. Should we move on to the next one? Which was
Darkstar Second Liners versus Shock and Gore.
Oh yes, of course, Bobby
Ooh.
Bingtang versus Gruff, and it was a very defensive game, let's say, with both teams scoring on their opponent's half. So, wait a second. I think I've got at least one. I've got 2 clips from this. Not that one. God, this is I'm a proper shambles today. I didn't. What? I've only got 1 clip, and so I thought I made another one. I might have I'll check later. But this is the second half. So in the first half, Gruff received, and the Dark Elves used the Wizard to kind of knock the ball free. And then there was a lot of it was basically a big tussle with the ball bouncing around a little bit, but basically the 2 Agi 5 elves got the ball away and scored. And then in the second half, Gruff gets a blitz to start the half off. So I'm amazed that he didn't put a player under the ball. I talked to him. I basically said, "Why didn't you put the ball on? Why didn't you put the that ghoul underneath the ball?" And he said he was afraid of rolling another GFI in case it failed. But it lands in Setek's hands, so it's fine. And basically, it's another. This half is another kind of tussle, a bit like the first half, where instead of the Agi 5 players getting the ball away, it's the undead who managed to. Ooh, I'm just checking, so I'm sure I had a second clip. No, this is the only one. Oh well.
Oh god, that elf is a menace to everyone. God damn.
Yeah, Bobby, like he was having I guess he still kind of is having a rebuilding season, but for a rebuilding season he's got 2 pretty amazing weapons.
Agi 6 movement up, dodge leap, lodge leap.
Yeah.
Gross.
Oh no! I keep this is a long clip where basically I fast forward a little bit through turns again, and there's more hitting of players. Both sides using strip ball. So Setek actually was really, instrumental in getting the ball off the Dark Elves a lot, and that Dark Elf who just leapt in was did the opposite for the Dark Elves. It was almost no one was safe. I don't know why I stopped there. But yeah, eventually the undead scored. Oh yeah, also there was sweltering heat. So as well as the Dark Elves only had 11 players, and by the second half had like two injuries, a KO, and a sweltering heat player removed. Whereas Gruff still had a bench of 3. In fact, I think did he kill one of the elves?
It says 1 death at least.
Yeah, Sir Law, the strip ball. Oh, that was the leap one, so that was later. So later on, must have been 14 or 15 where he died, and Gruff got another zombie.
Nice.
Yeah. So
how to rebuild? Kill the other players.
Yeah, it really helps when you've got a necromancer, rebuilding your team. But yeah, I mean, Bobby Bingtang's team doesn't look that bad. He's still only got 10 players, but with those 2 ridiculous Agi Dark Elves, and a Smash Ring of Guard,
So he's got a ton of silly looking Dark Elves. That Witch Elf is insane.
Yeah.
One of them. And that's 86, and also the other one that's missing next game.
I think he's movement busted, isn't he? I just showed that, wasn't reading it. No, yeah, you're right. He was missed next game, but he's movement busted from before. Yeah.
And 2 guard pieces, kick. He's got all the tools he actually wants.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, maybe leap on the on. Actually, I guess if you've got a strength 4 leaper, you don't really need a leap, guarder as well. It's surprising he's not, higher up the leaderboard. But I guess week 4, you can't really.
No, but again, you can also say it's rough if you have an elf team that's got no bench.
Yeah, that's true. Whereas Gruff has gone from a very dilapidated team to, I mean, it's still not got very many level ups, but he's got 14 players now. And at least 3 of those zombies have come from other teams. I think. Draws are like wins to Gruff, he says.
I know how you feel. I know how you feel.
But yeah, it's decent looking under team again. Mummies and Whites, bit underdeveloped, but it's coming.
Yeah,
good season for development.
Yeah, and the Mummies will develop themselves. The Mighty Blow really helps, and the Whites are going to get. I wonder if he's going to choose Mighty Blow for the guard White as well, so to help them boost their development a little bit more. But yeah, it's a rebuilding season. It's it's a rebuilding season for me as well. I just happen to be winning a few games in the meantime.
I wish I had one of your rebuild seasons.
Well, you rebuild a lot faster if you win games because you earn more money, right? That's the that's the best way to rebuild, is to win games. But yeah, that's about it. Should we move on to the next game? Which was Ginny's Sugar Daddies against the Fly Lord Servants. I know Gruff watched this. Was it streamed? I think it was streamed. I don't know who by. Oh no, it wasn't. No, people just watched on Cablevision, didn't they? There was excitement about the game, and I do have a couple of clips from this at least. I think, yeah. So first half, the Dark Elves have the ball. They push very hard up one side, like ridiculously hard. I mean, they've got a lot of inducements against the Nurgle, and Lady Killjoy makes I think it's a 3+, maybe a 4+ pass, and rolls a double 1 in Disturbing Presence and whatever, and that scatter all the way to the other side of the pitch. Actually, I think it kind of helps him. So the Nurgle can't really properly cover the ball up. And this is actually just a very short clip for once. So I just show the throw. But I think they over committed to one side, and I just don't like throwing. I'm a very conservative elf coach, and I'm elfing, and this is too aggressive for my liking.
But it's a fun thing, and Ginny Sugar Daddies there is Lady Killjoy. Mm-hmm. From what I've seen, is a very aggressive elf coach, and it's entertaining to watch compared to somebody who's just standing back, positioning players and doing one. No, he's going all in.
Yeah. He's
going forward.
I mean, he's also throwing from the sideline and getting his runner surfed in the next turn into a Kaz, which used up the Apo, or the first Apo, I think. Yeah. But yeah, that double one. I guess you can't. But I don't know how I don't know who he was throwing to, and what the chances of catching were in all the stink. But the elves managed to the Nurgle pick up the ball, move down the side, and the elves still managed to hit the ball. And this is obviously showing why he plays so aggressively, because defending with the witch elf that he's got, strip, wrestle, leap, agi 5. It's pretty potent, ball sacking. Even the red dice, you know, as long as there's no skull, he's fine. This is another sideline pickup in stink and throw, admittedly with Agi5, and again over interception chance, but you know, gets them out of trouble, and they go on to score in their drive, pretty safely actually in the end. You know, I think they score on turn 8, and the Nurgle don't really like. I don't think they. I think they'd taken so long after that backwards and forwards that Lady Killjoy played a little bit more conservatively afterwards. I think that, he might have used up a lot of rerolls as well. I've got 2 more clips from this, and one is very short. In fact, it's before the half has ended, and you can see the Dark Elves have basically got away with the ball. It's turn 6 of the Nurgle, so and as you see, Lady Killjoy's only got 1 reroll left. The Nurgle only have 1 reroll left. This is the second time the Beast has rolled a 1 in 9, and this time it Kazes itself with no regen.
Ooh.
Yeah. So removing itself, it had possibly the worst game I've seen of a Beast for, you know. I think it made maybe 3 blocks, and both or 2 of them were 1 in 9s. But you know, when I saw that, I was like, I have to get that. That's funny. Nothing like watching a Beast or, you know, any big guy hurt itself because of 1 in 9s.
Exactly.
But yeah, Lady Killjoy goes on to score pretty safely, and the Nurgle, you know, in there do the usual bash thing of caging up and slowly moving forward, having lots of guard on the ball, being like, when they have 8 turns to move forward, they were uber safe. The kick wasn't particularly difficult for them, so they got it in a cage and really well protected, you know, very early on. And even though there were a few leaps on the ball, the Elves were losing a lot of players. So skip forward to the last clip, which is turn 15 or 16. So it's the setup for turn 16. Not much that the Dark Elves can do with only 6 players left on the pitch, except it's a riot. So a difficult kick, kind of, considering where the Dark Elves are. And I do think that I think the Nurgle could have been a little bit more spread out, because I mean, basically they're defending against. I mean, I guess maybe they were worried about a 1-turn attempt, but I think against 6 players it's unlikely. Lady Killjoy getting a scoring threat with the Witch, and then bringing the Blitzer next to it. Again, I'm not sure how. Like, this is one of those matter of taste things. If you've got 2 scoring threats, do you stand them right next to each other, or do you spread them out? I don't really like the fact they're next to each other. I would have done in a similar thing that I did to the Kislev, where I'd make a T-shape and blitz the Blitzer upwards, so that hopefully he's lying down and therefore not scoring threat anymore, and the Witch is pushed against the line and has a very hard time of getting out of it. But as it is, they go for a blitz on the Witch, which maybe you decided a little bit because of the, you know...
Leap.
Oh, no, no, actually I don't think it's a leap. I think it's because they wanted to remove the Witch, because the Witch is annoying. Agi5, leap, wrestle strip. That thing of like targeting someone who's been irritating you throughout the game. But I do think basing up here is a mistake as well. So if the screen in front of the Dark Elves on the left had not been in contact, they'd been a step further back, it would have been a lot harder to blitz through, because they would have had to move more players. And then a warrior KOs itself doing a GFI, much like the comedy of the Beast. Yeah, so Gruff says the Nurgle relied a bit on just basing players with tackle and praying for 1 too many times, which against, you know, a lot of Agi 5 and, you know, not a bad team. You know, Lady Killjoy finds quite a nice route through the screen, partly because it's based, and then dodges the Witch Shell through. Admittedly, with 0 rerolls, this is a lot of dice to be rolling. You know, I guess the dodges have built in, but the GFIs. And then a big long pass with pass and a catch. So that's how. So Riot and Agi 5 basically led to Lady Killjoy winning that game, which was pretty, you know, a little bit lucky. I think it's a bit harsh to say that Ant-Man overcommitted to the defense or undercommitted or didn't do the right thing. I think it was, you know, a matter of opinion of how to defend that, right?
I think with that warrior, he was just gonna foul that witch. I would have.
Yeah, actually,
that's the win.
That's a good point. You don't get to see that in the replay, or if you're watching on Cabal Vision, that's very likely what he was doing, wasn't it?
But yeah, I think the win was lucky for Lady Killjoy here, because that was a lot of dices in the last turn with no reroll.
Yeah, if I'd have been Nurgle, I'd have been fuming. Just saying.
Yeah, I agree.
But you know, that's one of the things that's one of the reasons that elves are effective is, you know, you can throw dice at things and sometimes it works to a greater degree than you know, bash coaches. But is there much else to say about this game? I'm not sure. Really.
No.
Badly hurt on the beast was the only removal that the Nurgle suffered, although they caused 5 Kaz. An armor break on the guard Blodge Blitzer, and a movement break on the Vessel Strip Ball lineman. I hope everybody's seen enough of that one. But Lady Killjoy has played a game already against me, but the block Witch has now got tackle from after the Nurgle game, and you know, starting to look even more beat up after my game too. Yeah. Oh, and the Nurgle got a level up too. I didn't notice that until just now. A Nurgle warrior with block and Mighty Blow now has Block Claw Mighty Blow. Gaucho Fragile. So starting to look a bit more like, so they, you know, I remember a few games ago they were not looking like a very bashy Nurgle team, but now they've got, now their warriors are looking a bit more killy.
Yeah, missing some tackle on them, but it's good.
Yeah, I mean, they still need one of the goats to step forward and start actually doing some murdering. But yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, it would mean that a goat would be a murder goat and not just a tackle goat.
Yeah.
But then again, he's got so many stat ups in those pestigores, it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I'm of two minds about the plus agi, plus movement, minus movement pestigore. You know, that's a very expensive player. I'd probably fire and rehire fairly rapidly.
That brings into a question. Would you do that if you're trying to compete in the Division 2? Or would you use him for the season and save the money for the after and then just have a fresh goat for the next season?
Oh, what, try and use the market, did you say?
Use the market or get a new goat, or...
Yeah, well, because, I mean, the market's not going to exist at the end of this season, is it? So that's...
Yeah.
Like, if the market still existed, it would be I think it would be very possibly wise choice to try and save up towards the end of the season to replace him. I mean, he's not bad. It's nice having another block player, but I feel like, and you know, maybe he's waiting to see what the next level up is, and if the next level up is something good, it might, like a double. So yeah, dodge would really make that player good again.
Or another movement.
Or
Would that be some shit? Another movement.
And then he gets a movement busted match after. And it's like, all's well in the world.
Yeah. So long as he gets movement ups and movement busts every time he levels, I'd be I'd be laughing. But no, I don't like keeping him at the moment. I'm like every time I look at him, I'm thinking about every time like every recap, I'm getting stronger and stronger of the opinion that this is too much bloat on a already bloaty team. It might depend on who he's playing each week, and you know, in this matchup, he's already so far ahead in TV that you know, bloat's not that big a deal. You know, you're already giving away a wizard. It doesn't matter if you're giving away more.
Well, that's going to be now. I'm just going to bring you back here, Conrad, because you were talking about bloat earlier, coming from the guy with the 2120 Kislev team.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and we just talked about bloat with Kislev and Nurgle. You embrace it.
Well, to a certain degree, you do. But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
it's just making fun, mate.
Yeah. But it's like a weird kind of the more bloat. Like, if you can go from like the difference between being 50 TV above someone and being 150 is a big leap because they're getting a wizard. But then the difference between being 150 above someone to any other number is tiny, because after they've got a wizard, you're kind of, you know, there's not much else to worry about. Especially, I think both our teams, like I now have 14 players. He now has 14 or 13 players. Yeah, 14 players too. So, you know, like, bribes are not even that useful. Like, oh, you're going to remove a couple of players. If they're important, it might be good, but like, I'm still not that worried about it. But I don't think both of us are, you know, particularly worried about it. So, yeah, I think, you know, you do embrace the bloke to a certain point. But when he plays me, I'd be considering strongly firing that player. Or if he plays anyone else who's like Ramaset, someone else who's in the, you know, when he plays you and the difference is, you know, 100 TV, and by firing that player, he's going to be saving himself, what, you know, 90 TV. I don't think the extra agility and block is worth 90 TV.
I agree. I actually agree. It just has to be the devil's advocate and turn it around.
Cool. Yeah, cool.
It's not fun if we just agree about everything.
Yeah, totally fair. Yeah. So I guess are we that's that game covered, I think. Happy?
Yeah. Well, then we come to the most important match of this week.
Your game, which when I asked you, is there anything for me to clip, you said no, it was boring.
Boring. Yeah, it was basically straightforward bash versus bash, a half each.
Yeah.
Lizard started with the ball, and before you show the first clip, I know which one it is.
Mm-hmm.
And in the first half, first 3 turns, he removed 2 blockers and a hobgoblin, and I had to use my Apo, and both Chorf blockers were injuries, and I used the Apo on one of them. He came back to substitute.
Yeah, I think in fact the hobgoblin and one of the Chorfs was first turn blocks, right? The
blocker was first block in the game.
Yeah.
One of them. Yeah. I didn't Apo him. He was just a line fodder. It was a risk I did.
I mean, he's the claw line fodder, so he'll be worth saving later on. But for now, he's your third string.
No. That was not the claw one that got injured there.
Oh, wasn't it?
No, he got turn 16 fouled.
Oh, was it? The niggled one. I thought you put the one without. Oh no, it wasn't that one. You're right. Okay, fine. Yeah, no. So it was the no SPP blocker who was on the line.
Yeah, well, it was also the claw niggle one and mighty blow one, but those 3 were on the line.
Yeah.
It was a risk I did because he didn't have claw, so I thought, well, AV9, they hold better than the hobgoblins.
Especially when the lizards have, what was
mighty blow across the board.
5 or 6 mighty blow, something ridiculous.
Yeah. So, and that dictates the half a bit. But as you're going to show here in the clip now, there's going to be a bit of fun mid the first half.
Yeah. So you basically, I think it when was it? It was turn. Oh, actually, it was turn 2 where you use your frenzy bull centaur to kind of blitz into the cage.
Yeah.
Was this just an attempt to hit a skink? 3 dice into 2 dice. Good chance to remove the plus agi skink, which is always a bit of a threat.
Yeah, my plan was this game when I was going to defend first, just try and hit as many skinks and try to remove skinks. Basically,
pretty much everyone's plan against lizards anyway, right? Just make it harder for them to carry the ball.
But exactly, and also I know I'm basing off a few short blockers, but again, it was a risk I'm taking here because he's got no claw, and to maybe get him to use a lot of dices without moving players, so he has a harder time caging up because I have break tackle on both bulls.
Yeah, no, I don't think you I don't think you based that much at all. In fact, I noted while looking through the replay quickly that there were I saw you step back quite a lot, which I thought was you may have had people in contact, but it wasn't like a massive amount.
I'm trying to avoid it.
Yeah.
But here in a second it comes the funny clip where he's going to move the ball handling skink.
Nice.
And it's a 1 in 9 failed dodge. And actually, I think it was a little bit of a misplay here because he blitzed. Why did he blitz? He blitzed to go forward rather than to try and push you off the ball.
Yeah, that was also my question there. And the turn after, I'm making a huge mistake. I'm going for the skink. I should have went for the Saurus at the corner with claw instead, but that's it. I tried putting in the tackle, stand firm, bull, and getting a skink out at the same time.
Yeah, I imagine the tackle stand firm was a pretty pivotal piece. I like stand firm.
Oh, that bull is a beast. So many Cassie, just remove so many things. It's again also when you look at my bulls, one with frenzy and one with tackle mighty blow. It basically at times you need to blitz with somebody who can move a bit more. So that's why I like to have a killer bull too.
Oh yeah, I mean basically the reason that Chaos Dwarfs are actually good is because of the balls, not because of the chores. However much people enjoy having, plus, claw and all that kind of stuff. But also, not only could he have blitzed so actually no, I was going to say after you said he gets so many Kaz, having stand firm gives you so many extra blocks. It's really worth underlying that the number of times you don't get knocked down and you get to hit someone back because they have stand firm.
And most of the first half was basically I am trying to hit skinks and hit him, and well, those skinks, they brought their iron armor because I had a few KOs, and then in the end of the first half I injured a Saurus and a skink, but both KOs skink came back, so I had 4 armor breaks in the first half, a few stuns maybe also, but I removed 4 players, 2 KOs, 2 injuries in the first half.
I mean, I think there's a bit of perspective here because both teams are bashy teams. Both teams weren't going all in mans all the time. So let's have a look how many blocks you guys did. I don't think it was ridiculous amount of blocks, right? I'm going to be totally wrong here. I haven't looked at it. 56. Oh wow, Lizard's got loads more blocks than you. 56 blocks against your 30. But he got removals when in the first half, but half those removals were from the LOS blocks, and you got removals in the second half, but half those removals were your LOS blocks that happened on turn 8 and turn 9 when you have your own chance to hit back. Is that happens quite a lot, I think, with bash matchups where it feels really unfair in the first half because the extra hits on the LOS that the other team gets, and then it feels like the game turns around in the second half because you get 2 sets of LOS hits back. I think a lot of games.
Here's a little fun fact. I actually like when it's Bass versus Bass to kick first.
Oh really? Because you.
But it only goes when it's with overtime.
Oh, because you think you get more removals?
No, I did it versus Jimmy, and that was I choose to kick the ball against Jimmy Fantastic, and that's basically because then I'm going to use the first half to let him score on turn 8, basically, and then just use that whole. The line blocks were a risk because no removes there is basically a must or a stun or two.
Yeah.
But then just basically hit one player, get it down, foul it to oblivion. Hit one player every turn. And then I would have 2 lines of LOS blocks and have the whole half to push up and kill all his people, the rest of them, while we go into overtime and he has nothing on the pitch.
Yeah.
It's a risky play. But in Challenger Cups, it worked 3 times.
I think
I did the first. I did the first versus Jimmy. Then Viking did it, and then Viking did it versus me and won again.
Oh, so it worked 3 times, but not every time for you.
No, because the Viking Cup, he kicked the ball. He kicked so fast, and he said, "Ha, playing against you."
Yeah, Viking's a good coach. Right? He was in my division last season. Yeah.
But yeah, well, now we're looking at my team. You see, you had a clip more from the second half, didn't you?
Yeah. So basically, I was actually going to say, that the kicking thing works a lot better when you've actually got spare players. When the team with the bench, it works a lot better for, because then you can absorb a bit of the first half damage. If you've only got 12 players, and with hobgoblins,
for the next match,
it's a bit nervy. Yeah. Even 13, it's not a massive bench, I think. But anyway, I started off being a Skaven player and just being like 11 players is enough. I want a tiny team so I can have wizards every game. And I'm starting to get around to the idea that maybe a bench is a good idea.
It's fun because if you look at my team on paper, it's looking damn good with skills and everything, but it's still TV efficient compared to a lot of other people.
Yeah.
If you just remove that Deadly Vampire, he's a bit bloaty, but a bit fun. But that's also been my point, that I have been lucky that most of my hobgoblins haven't got much SPP. They haven't stolen much. It's all gone to the important players.
Yeah. Although having Claw Mighty Blow really helps the important players level.
Yeah, well, I actually had 5 Claw players, but last season, Fernando Freud #1 was a guard Claw Chorf.
Yeah.
So I had more Claw.
But 4's the right number. You can only make, unless there's a lot of basing going on, you're only going to really make 4 hits in a normal turn type thing.
But if you get a double, do you deny it? Do you deny Nuffle's will?
No, especially how long are you going to keep the niggle for? Is he going to stay forever type thing? Like I'm normally very anti-niggle, but
at the moment he's staying forever.
Yeah.
Because he is such a red dot for a lot of people, and he's just his armor's not breaking. And again, I would say if you go for a dwarf or a Jorf, AV9 and thick skull, the niggle is not as dangerous as it is on other players who's without thick skull and not so high armor.
Yeah.
He's still hard to get down and knock out. It will happen, and he'll die at some point.
It's worth mentioning he has block as well, so block adds to that, doesn't it? Because he's less likely to go down, and then when he does go down, his armor's strong, and even when his armor fails, he's also got thick skull. Although thick skull doesn't help with the injury, but at some point he's going to die.
Yeah, at some point he's going to die, and then good. But if he levels again and he rolls a double, I'm tempted to go dodge.
Yeah, get dodge.
Cool. So I do actually have another clip, and this is the turn 16. Now, why would we clip for turn 16? Some might say.
Oh, my greed. Me being greedy.
I missed out on your turn 16. Actually, it's just the lizards line of blocks, and then.
Yeah. And as you look on the left side, there is a small Chorf blocker with claw and a niggle.
Yep, who gets jumped on rather than, as you pointed out, an attempt to Vanti pass with a plus Agi skink. But he just gets sent off. But there we go. Turn 16 fouls. Still it's still alive and well in 2B. And actually, this leads us on to the next game because I guess we'll talk about that in a clip or two. It's a bit of foreshadowing, but so the last game of the week. Well, sorry, do we have anything else that we want to say about the Lizards?
No, it was
game?
basically great coach and people were awesome. We chatted a little bit during the game and we had a good time. Awesome guy. And it was basically bash versus bash, one half for each.
Yeah, and it was
you cage up, you move up.
Yeah,
it just
and the dice were fairly equivalent. So
yeah. Well, there is a fun part about his Crocs.
It
made
itself?
double skulls twice.
Yeah.
No, it didn't remove itself. It made double skulls twice. Reroll into loner.
Damn.
And Crocs is supposed to be the best big guy, but still even they fail. Yeah. But more stand firm. He's getting a bit bloaty, but I guess with block, keep him going. I really like this Lizard team, I've got to say. And he leveled up Webbo, who's now got a tackle Mighty Blow. I don't know if that may be portentous of his next opponents, who might be elves. But I'd like more, break tackle.
It's also fun if I just had a look at the dice log after, and the Croxigore itself had 2 powers and 8 skulls.
Nice. So we go to this.
But he was lucky he didn't hit a claw Mighty Blow guy. He just hit one of the naked.
Oh, there he is.
But in the dice log, the top skulls are not showing. If you go in,
I can see. Is it Lily Lock? Is that the name of the?
He's Porker stuck. You can go if you click on all players to the side.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was just a small fun one.
Odd. But yeah.
Okay. Good fun match. Looking forward to next week. We'll get to that one later because shit.
One more game, and that is the Goblins against the Skaven, which basically was, as expected, a bit harsh for the Goblins. I've got 2 clips. So the first one is right at the beginning. The Goblins get a high kick, so they get to put their pogoer underneath the ball, and then they get to start by hitting with a troll who rolls 3 skulls. So it's a nice way of starting the game, but the loner thankfully works, as it were, so they're all right. But actually, so I think the I skipped through this. There wasn't you can't really there isn't really that much to say about the game. The Goblins, got removed fairly rapidly by Claw, Mighty Blow piling on. Actually, the Goblins played really well, and Crystal Hunter, as expected, also plays really well. One of the things that I have a real problem with other Goblin coaches doing badly is moving the ball and chains too far forward, and he didn't do that. He, the ball and chains and the trolls all made a nice clump in the middle, and he managed to cage up quite well and defend the ball as well as he really could, considering 2 corners is a cage. You roll dice to see where they go, and the other 2 corners of the cage have to, roll really stupid every time they move. So, it's pretty hard as Goblins to move forward under the ball, and the Skaven, did the best they could to remove players. And then, the Skaven got the ball away and scored. So I think I've got. Wow, did I miss that clip? Talk amongst yourselves. There we are.
Yeah. Well, I'm just looking at the statistics from the match in the meanwhile also, and fairly even on armor breaks. Well, the goblins had a bit more on death on each side, one expulsion each. It looked like, in a way, in a fairly even game. If you just look at these stats on the match report.
mean, this is what I was trying to say. Is I think the skill level was even, and the dice weren't unfair. But you know, Skaven against goblins, the Skaven have such a massive advantage that even that with everything else being equal, you know, they didn't have much chance. But my next favourite highlight is this bit here, where the chainsaw hits the armor bust. Is it armor busted? Guard gutter runner. Just gets a stun, unfortunately. But you know, you can see the goblins trying to defend in the second half, and as you can see, the rats got the ball away and scored. They actually didn't manage to score until turn 8. You know, I think Crystal would have liked to have scored more rapidly, so more bribes were used. But the goblins, the goblins made it really hard. And you can see that there were 4 players in the Cas box in the second half. So both teams actually had 11, because the goblins had, you know, a normal bench of 2 and also Ripper and Fungus the Loon. So I had 11 players for the second half too.
But just a curious question shortly. Well, here we just see a removal of the chainsaw. Get out, Tamer. But just before, when he does that goblin that failed, if you look at it again, he hadn't moved the ball and chain. Would you have moved that one over to base first?
I was thinking about that, and also he didn't hit with the trolls. I think he should have hit with the trolls before he did that. But it was a 1 in 9. So you know, the trolls hitting would have, like Ripper would have been a 3 dice, which would have been pretty safe. And then at least one of the trolls could have moved. I don't know what his plan was. Maybe he was going to hit with the block troll. So I noticed if we later on in this clip, you'll see him move Ripper to use him as a troll activator, essentially. And I think this is a sign of how few goblins are left as well. But like maybe he should have. Maybe he could have put the pressure on that he puts on a turn later, a turn sooner, if he'd have moved the strong players earlier. But I don't know if you're a bit behind, but I now got to the dirty player foul of the guard gutter runner. I take that you just got there. Yep.
Good.
Dead.
Lovely death.
Dead. Apoed into dead as well. So the Apo didn't help.
Well done, Killer. Well done.
Yeah, and I mean that was the chainsaw causing the stun the turn before.
You did to be a favor.
Yeah, exactly. That's the wrestle strip of Crystal Hunter removed, which is a big effect. In return, though, I mean, Crystal Hunter killed and armor busted a goblin, so the removals went both ways. But yeah, it was like the second half. It was almost impossible for the goblins to stop the Skaven.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if it was bad that the ball and chain hadn't moved at this point. They're so random. Maybe he had a plan off with the dodge. Maybe he didn't want to accidentally hit the dodging goblin. Although you're right, actually. I mean, he could have actually hit the dodging goblin into the cage with the ball and chain, with a bit of luck, as well.
Yeah. You're playing goblins. You need luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You're basically just putting the pedal to the metal and say, "Here, Nuffle, take the wheel."
Yeah. Let's just watch the gutter runner die one more time, mate.
Yes.
But yeah,
so, and you're calling bash coaches bad.
This isn't a bash coach, though. This is the thing. Like goblins.
No. I was talking about your. Oh, let's watch this.
Well, everyone loves a bit of death. I'm not saying bash is bad. I mean, one of the good things about Kislev is that they're half bashy. And as we may have foreshadowed a little bit earlier, the turn 16 of the Goblins, they blitz forward with Ripper. It's 2-0 down. The Pogoer is now 7 squares away from scoring. And now is definitely the perfect time, once you have no more bribes left, to do a dirty player foul on another gutter runner, a big hand gutter runner, which luckily wasn't called and unfortunately wasn't a death. But I think I'd have gone for the score in this case before I'd have done the foul. Me being
Don't beat your home.
there you go. There's another turn 16 foul.
No balls.
Yeah. Well, on Tom Bombadil, the T16 kill foul was his name.
Yeah.
So you need to foul him turn 16. It's basically
law.
law.
I see. It's nominative determinism. Because of his name, he should be fouled every 16th turn.
Yeah.
Excellent. You're right.
And also, the smart play would have been just to score straight away. But is that fun?
And I guess one of the answers to this question is obviously the smart play is probably not to play goblins in the first place. If you're going to play goblins, you might as well turn 16 foul with before scoring. But also
I would like to change that sentence.
Yeah.
When you play goblins, you foul for 16 turns.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so no levels for the goblins and 1 death for the Skaven. Brings us to the end of the schedule, brings us to the end of the week, and we'll have a quick look at the leaderboard. We looked a second ago, and I've played my game, but I wouldn't be first. So I think Yorick will go above me if he wins his game this week. So I should be behind him already. I mean, and that Sandland defeat of Ramesset really, brings those top 4 coaches together, or 5 even. I guess.
I will find it fun if we end the season and the Lizard coach still has 0 losses and just 13 draws.
Just draws the rest of the season out.
I mean, I don't know if anyone's ever achieved a 13 draw season. I think at least one person's managed a 13 win season.
No,
no one. I thought
no, it was 12-1.
12-1.
He drew in the last one.
Oh.
Yep. It was the division I covered last year in Rebbl.
Okay.
Last season, yep.
Okay.
But yeah, if I should toot my own horn, I should basically, with the team I have, I should be way up top. But again, close division and
all these draws.
I have been hitting with fluffy mittens.
But you can't, that's one of the things, Claw Mighty Blow piling on doesn't actually win you.
It doesn't work
that many games,
It wins you once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. Not even 20% probably of and then you might have to face other teams who have Claw Mighty Blow, who might have their 20% game where they remove all your team instead. So.
Yeah, but again, as I say, I always call myself an average coach, and this is some damn good coaches in this division. And as we can see, we are a lot of us fairly equal in the skill and with the team and everything, and people are doing well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Gruff being at the bottom is, very understandable because of how his team's been destroyed. Keandare being second from the bottom, East Goblins, but he's like every bit of his games I've seen, he's played really well, and everyone else, I don't think there's very much to call between the in the skill level between us.
No, I would say we'll also wait to see when we're getting a bit further in the season. Now we're still early, and well, everything can go completely. I think it was Bobby Bintang, who had a season where he lost the first 3 or 4 games and ended in a second place in the division.
I know Sandland apparently last season missed his first 2 games and didn't lose a single game after that.
Yeah, well, Bobby has done it too. So it's again, well, Lizard, 4 draws.
Whereas
mean anything, he get in first.
Whereas I tend to do the opposite. I tend to win early and then lose all my last important games against the other people at the top, and then drop down massively.
Now, now I'm even more happy I'm facing you in week 12.
Yeah.
Look on the bright side.
Yeah. It feels like I've had a few seasons in UK BBL and in Rebbl where the last game has been a draw or a loss, and it's meant that I've not won the division or or been promoted or whatever. But anyway, all right. So let's get on. Should we get on to next week? And as I said, I'm sorry, I've already played mine, so there's no guessing what happens between me and Lady Killjoy's Dark Elves. The Rel. What you mentioned it, didn't you? The Rel, what's it called? ELO calculator thing. Did you mention it, or someone mentioned it last week? So there's a thread about someone who's worked out what the percentage win chances are of different people, and I was supposed to lose that game, but it doesn't take into account race, and also I don't think it takes into account TV, and my TV was like 460 higher than Lady Killjoy, especially as I bought that catcher. So it was a bit of one of those games where the over TV team just, beats up the lower TV team a little bit. And
it bases off of the matchup history in the whole thing. So
yeah, so you end up like ELO is supposed to be you get more points depending on how you fared against better coaches, and so Lady Killjoy has obviously beaten better coaches than I've beaten, if that makes sense, to have a better ELO rating. But it doesn't take into account how the teams matched up, and in this matchup it was a slightly unfair. There was an unfair advantage in TV to me, basically. It was hitting close to that point where they had a lot of inducements and lots of them were just waste and not much you could do with them.
It actually had you at 55% to win.
Oh, I thought it was the other way around. I thought I was 55% to lose. Either I misread it or someone told me about it. I can't remember who it was. Oh well. All right, fine. Well, I won. No. But anyway, let's go back to the list. And Auctionally Ridiculous against Flylord Servants. This is going to be an interesting game. I mean, interesting in the standing up and bashing each other thing, but I feel slightly sorry for the Orcs.
Yeah, I think they're missing a few because he's way down TV.
Yeah. He's missing his movement 7, strength 4, tackle, mighty blow.
Yeah, and
the Black Orc.
Unless Knife and Orc is going on a rampage, I think that this could be a win for the Nurgle. And now, especially with 2 Claw Mighty Blow people.
I mean, having just talked about how a massive TV advantage is a big deal.
500.
Yeah, I mean it's ridiculous. And
according to the ELO predictor, it's actually 49 to 51, and the 51 is for the Nurgle. So they say close.
Yeah.
But they don't take into account with TV.
Yeah. Or the racial matchup, and the racial matchup of a big clawy, not very clawy, admittedly, 2 claw Nurgle against not that much guard. I mean, it's basically this Orc team need more guard to really have a good chance against this Nurgle team. They've got more guard. Oh no, they've got the same amount of guard. But yeah, I'm calling it in favour of the Nurgle. You guys?
Nurgle. I think he's missing too much.
Yeah, as I said, unless Knife and Orc is going on a rampage, that's Strength 5, Mighty Blow, Frenzy Blitzer, it's going to be a bad one.
He's got Break Tackle now. I think as of last, did he get that this week? I can't remember, but he either got it this week or last week. But yeah, now break tackling into cages possibly. Maybe even ball carrying with him would be a safe-ish choice. I guess you've got a strength 4 ball carrier anyway.
Yeah, strength 4 ball carrier is good.
But yeah, both of us, or all of us, think Nurgle. And now, so the lizards who took tackle on Asaurus are playing the Bobby Bingtang's Dark Star second liners. So maybe that helped them decide to pick tackle.
Well, he needed a tackle. We got what? 3 elves, and we got a goblin, and we got some rats. He needs a tackle, so
Yeah, one tackle's. Oh, he's got 2 tackle. He's also got the tackle skink. But now he's got 3 anyway. And also now he's got a tackle mighty blow, which against the rats and the goblins will be invaluable. Slightly TV up. So
no, not much.
Yeah, it's very slightly.
100.
So
he's going to be 1870.
Yeah, so 100 exactly. In fact, what do Dark Elves get with 100?
A bribe? Oh no, wait, they don't have a bench.
No bench, no Dogs player.
I would most likely either go for. I would probably go for 2 babes, something like that.
Or an Apo. Power Apo against the Mighty Blow. There's a lot of Mighty Blow, so the chance of
Power Apo might also be good.
Yeah. Well, and also you've got 11 players, so you might want to actually have to Apo an injury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Lizards have 4 Mighty Blow, so
5. Oh, 4, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's break tackle on the last Saurus.
I do like break tackle.
Yeah. And that's actually also, when I played against him, one thing I tried to was a few times blitz that Saurus, because if I got him out and based up the other one, he would suddenly be, only having skinks to move around.
Yeah.
Unless he wanted to do a edgy one dodge.
Yeah, it also makes the thought process a bit easier when you don't have to add in the fear of a break tackle attempt.
Yeah.
Or even them cutting a corner that you thought was enough to stop a blitz type thing. But yeah,
but you know what? I'm calling a draw.
Oh, okay.
I knew it. I knew you were gonna say that.
I have to give it up for my lizard friend. He's gonna draw all season.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Now, a close one. I could see it go either way, depending on Mighty Blow and luck and everything, and it's 2 good coaches. But I think draw.
Even with strength 2 ball carriers and this Agi 5 leap wrestle tackle witch, I'm not so certain anymore. I think it's either going to be the Lizards or remove so many elves that they have an easy time of it, or it's going to be the elves dodge in and remove the ball and then get it away type thing, maybe killing some skinks in the process. But I'm going to say it's not going to be a draw, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and say the Dark Elves win.
I was gonna say the Lizardmen. I think they'll get a few lucky catches at the start.
Ooh.
And it'd be too much for the elves to overcome.
Fair enough. That's 3 different things.
Yeah. Yes. So there we are.
The ELO predictor is actually quite agreeing with us, because that's expected result is 47% for the Lizards and 53 for the Dark Elves. So it is fairly even in that way also.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody can agree.
No. I noticed that the Lizards actually have 2 coaching assistants and 2 cheerleaders. Did they have that for your game?
I can't remember. I think yes.
Okay, seems like a slight waste of money when you don't have any cheerleaders or assistants, and when the Dark Elves don't have any either. Don't know. Anyway,
Yeah, he probably could get rid of one of those so that he doesn't get an apple.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah,
That'd be pretty smart.
It would make quite a big difference.
You would have to get rid of 2, because I think the Dark Elves had 10k in the bank.
Yeah, well, the Dark Elves are rebuilding their team. They don't want to spend cash, even if it's only 10k, and he could get rid of 2 because he's got 2 cheerleaders and he's got 2
Yeah.
coaches. So you go down to 1, and basically they're still going to win you things. Which I think I think the aim should never be to have more than one more than your opponent, if that makes sense. So that's why, like, 1 I can understand because it almost certainly will win you the reroll, but more than 1, you're making it certain you're winning the reroll, but I don't think the value, the number of times you get rerolls from it is worthwhile to spend that much. But anyway,
If he gets rid of 2 of those, I actually give it to the lizards.
yeah, exactly. It'll be even harder for the Dark Elves if they don't get an Apo or whatever they're going to spend.
Or 2 babes,
Yeah.
in general.
If they got 80 TV instead of 100 TV. They basically can only afford to get a babe and nothing else. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's quite, see, that shows how much of a difference 10 TV wastage can have. Anyway.
Yeah.
So
then we got Goblins versus Voltrix Vanguard, the High Elves.
Now, I did say that Skaven were the worst matchup for Goblins. This is pretty close, I think, to being as bad. Maybe not quite.
No, I don't think it's as bad because I don't think the elves are going to kill that much.
Yeah, no Mighty Blow. I thought they had a Mighty Blow player, but no.
No. Ramazet is a damn good coach, and he's not relying on Mighty Blow. He's relying on his skills to win games. Whereas I would also maybe have gotten a Mighty Blow on somebody, so he has somebody to blitz with, but he's basically using it a bit more open to have everything to blitz with.
I mean, it's worth also mentioning that part of the reason that Skaven are a bad matchup is because they generally have a lower TV, so there's less for inducements to get, whereas High Elves are the opposite, and the Goblins are going to get, what, 650 TV of inducements?
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Could we
and
see...
they have 120 in bank. They can get anything they want.
I mean, I'd want to replace players before spending money on inducements, but they could get Morg. Oh wait, are they at home as well? That's going to be important. They are at home, so they also get enough altar. So they could get Ball and Chain, Morg, and 3 bribes. How about that for a strong front line? 3 strength 5 or higher block players.
Why Morg when you get Ripper?
Because he carried the ball on Morg against me, and I imagine he would do the same against the High Elves. Because Morg's Agi 3. Agi 3 block strength 6.
True.
Yeah. And in fact, the High Elves strip baller got killed last game. Right? Is that right?
Oh yeah.
So they don't really have anyone who can get the ball off Morg. If the Goblins get Morg and he picks up the ball, it's suddenly an interesting game, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
The High Elves only have 12 players. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, it is actually interesting. I will still give it to Ramazet, I think, because Goblins is Goblins. But I actually think that there could be a chance. It depends on how well things get removed in the first half.
I mean, obviously, yeah, having, three Mighty Blow, whether it's Ripper or Morg, and a Chainsaw and a Ball and Chain, and very possibly a second Ball and Chain with Mighty Blow. That's a lot of dice to be hitting things with. And I actually think Kiandere is a better coach, like slightly better coach than Ramazet. I think I really have a lot of respect for Kiandere's play. And if he wasn't playing Goblins, I think all of us would be in a great deal of I'm actually going to say that the Goblins win this game. How about that for a off the wall suggestion?
No matter what, I was going Goblins anyways. So
I forgot about your Goblins every week.
yeah, Goblins upset.
I'm actually with you on this one.
Well, I'm going with the elves. But yeah, we're saying goblins every week. In one of the division, I recap the other ones. We have an ogre team, and the first skill up he took on Noblar was sneaky get, so he's instantly my favorite. You're going for the fun things.
Yeah. So I've not been paying attention to chat for a second. I've just seen a lot of comments from Gruff that I've not seen. One of them was, "Damn it, my game is last on the list, and I need to leave work." So I like the idea that Gruff's staying at work a little bit longer just to watch the hours of us talking. I can't remember what the no need. Oh, so just roll pals, no need for tackle. I assume is for high elves killing goblins, or possibly for stripping the ball off Morg. And Bobby bought the witch for that match. So anyway, and so added more TV to his team. But yeah, I guess that's something as well, that the ELO prediction can't really judge TV when people are buying players before games anyway, right?
That's true.
Oops, too far. Okay, so we've pretty much said all we can about that, right? Next is the Rat Rebbl against the Imperishable 4. So this is going to be tough for Thurnlow again, I think. In the same way that Kislev are a bad matchup for Khemri, Skaven are just as bad. Although he's Crystal Hunter has just lost his strip ball.
A strip ball wouldn't have mattered.
But tackle wrestle. He's lost his tackle wrestle gutter runner, 2 heads as well. So
That's true.
And it was or was it guard? I can't remember. But he's lost one of his main sacker, I think.
Khemri. Yeah, I'm big Khemri on this one.
Because?
I just got a feeling. I have a feeling Khemri's going to pull this one off. I don't know why, but maybe the lack of their main sacker, mainly thanks to the goblins, and he doesn't really have any means to break through the cage at all.
I mean, he's going to have a wizard, right?
I guess that's true. Yep.
It does depend a little bit on how well Tomb Guardians stand up to being claw bombed. If the Skaven can get hits in.
Well, if he piles on, the guy's definitely getting fouled no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I take that risk too. I'll go out of my way just to foul.
But I mean,
Almighty Blow.
I mean, he piled on against the goblins too.
Yeah.
If ever there's a team you need to worry about your piling on player getting fouled. What do you think, Aldar?
I'm just thinking shortly because it's going to be a close match and it's against Skaven. Skaven can do silly, dumb stuff. But I actually give it to Thurnlow and the Khemri this one. I think he's going to take it. And you were saying wizard as an inducement.
Well, he's got 190 TV inducement, and like rats always take wizards, right? That's just the rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is the rule, but he's basically got very little bench. I would maybe consider also 2 Merc linemans and for 70k each and a babe.
Oh, so I'm looking at the LO right now, and I'm surprised at the race matchup being as close as it is. 18-8-20 between Skaven and Khemri, which is very, very close. But the ELO has Crystal Hunter as a 67% favourite. I think Crystal has the highest ELO of the division. Oh no, not quite. The Chaos do.
Yeah.
But they're both at least 100 above everyone else. I'm not sure I entirely trust that, but whatever. I'm gonna go for Crystal because of Ratty craziness over Agi 2 is or even Agi 3 could be a real problem. There's always the chance that the Khemri remove loads of players, but it's like that Claw Mighty Blow chance. It doesn't win you that many games. They're both really good coaches, so it's not because of that. I just think it's the Rats have a natural advantage over Khemri. In fact, I wonder if the race matchup within Rebbl and Gman is a sign of better coaches choosing Khemri. And Skaven are a team that lots of people like playing because they're fun, whereas Khemri can be a bit soul destroying if you're not very good.
Well, it's usually pretty even. Rats are 18, 8, and 20 versus Khemri, so it's not bad at all.
Yeah.
So
I'm saying I'm very surprised it's that close. I would have thought Skaven over Khemri would have absolutely ruined them. But whatever. I'm going for the Rats. So is that sorry, which one did you pick, Aldar? I can't remember.
Khemri.
Khemri. Okay. So we're and you, Woo?
Khemri.
Khemri. Okay, so it's me against you two. All right, and next is this week's game of the week. Smart Doofuses. It's the claw off between Hell's Doofuses and Smart Models even.
And here's how it's going to go. It's going to be a bash fest without end. It's going to be a half for each, and in the end, the winner is going to be 2B because we're probably going to kill each other.
Well, amen to that. I'd be very happy with that, obviously. Oh, he's still got 2 levels that he's not taken, and one of them is on the dodge movement beastman, and the other's on the dirty player. So unless he's got a double and decides to take sneaky git, that's almost certainly wrestle, I'd say. On the dirty player. Not sure about the movement up.
Now, to be honest, this is going to be a close match, and I think as bash off is going to go, it's going to be a half for each side. And I think in the end, it's going to come down to who's claws firing the most in the end. Who's get the lucky and who's getting the removals that stick and not just the KOs.
Yeah. Or even, some KOs can stick too, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wait. No, of course, I'm going to win it purely, as I know. But on the real side, it's going to be a close match. It's 2 very bashy teams. We are fairly even on guard, claw, mighty blow, and everything, and it's going to be rough for both of us. Or one side is just going to remove the other one and say, "Meh, dust it off," and that's that.
You've got a lot. You've got a lot more killing potential, but he has a lot more, of the ability to move and agility and that kind of thing. If I was him, I'd be trying to turn it into a game about the ball.
Yeah,
but,
I want the bash fest.
Yeah,
I want the bash fest.
He's got 3 claw mighty blow, and one of them's got piling on. But you've got 2 claw pommers, right? Or 3 claw pommers.
Yeah, 2 claw pommers.
Yeah,
and a claw mighty blow more, and then 2 more with mighty blow.
Yeah. Yeah. So you want it to be a bash fest where you both kill each other, but we will see.
I want the chaos. I don't want the nice, well played one. I want the chaos.
You want the messy play. You mean the having to run around a lot, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Have you got 200 TV of inducements as well?
Yes.
Tasty.
Very tasty. Well, it's gonna be more because he's got the 2 level ups.
He's also got 20 TV of bloat, so it might he might bring his bloat down a little bit.
Has he got 20 TV bloat?
In his bank, His bank's 170.
Oh. Yeah.
All right.
So he's got.
I'm going.
Yeah. What do you say?
Oh, I'm going Chaos Dwarves.
Thank you.
I'm rooting for you. So you should be honored because I don't root for Chaos Dwarves hardly ever. So.
How does it feel to support the devil?
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
My enemy's enemy is my friend, maybe.
Yeah.
Gruff says Yorick kills a bull is his prediction. I haven't played you yet, so I'm not certain. I'm gonna wait a second. Oh, and Yorick's right. This is tough. Okay, I'm gonna go for Yorick just to balance out the opinions.
Of course, I'm going to go for myself, but it's going to be a rough one, and
Yeah.
I think it can go either way.
I really hope your first prediction of a lot of death on both sides is good. That'd be really good for me.
I already talked about yours, so that we're probably going to kill each other, and then it's a 2-0 for 2B as a.
That would be great. Thanks. Yeah, do that. And then the last game is Sandland against Gruff, and they're actually pretty close in TV now, which is surprising. No one's missing from Sandland. I guess they're pretty TV efficient team, and Gruff's building up with his collection of other people's zombies.
This is gonna be a close one.
Is Gruff willing to spend extra bank on inducements? I guess he's not really got anything else to spend it on.
Well, he's got all his players.
Yeah. You're not really saving up to. As soon as he spends it, he's gonna lose a player. But
yeah.
now we could always say with fun that it's actually a shame that Sandland won over Ramazet, because else we could have said, well, it's the best of the worst.
I mean,
because they're on the bottom, but nah, it's all good fun. It's not meant like that, that. But it would have been the two bottom fighting each other, and that would have been fun.
Yeah, I mean, Gruff's equal worst with the goblins, and the Knights who say knee are only 1 point ahead. So it is a 6-pointer for the bottom of the division.
Yeah.
Although a win for either of them would catapult them up to 7th.
Yeah.
Or somewhere between 6 and 7. That's how big the jump is for one win. Mummies always die, says Gruff. I'm
actually going to go with Gruff. He's going to get his first victory.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Gruff as well. I think that Sandland's kind of quite, slightly. He plays quite a bashy coach style, and that's not going to work against. He plays, he's playing a hybrid team, and I think he favours a more bashy style over, the edginess, and against regen, it has less chance of winning you a game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's my logic.
I'm gonna pick against you guys.
You think Sandland?
Yes, Bretonians.
And the ELO thinks Sandland as well. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
Actually, quite a big favor, actually.
Yeah, because of there's a lot to be said that ELO is being affected by Gruff having games where players die, losing him games, and also his team just generally being, the massive TV underdog. It's I think you can't really judge the division by. I think those I don't really like those ELO rankings. I don't think they're as relevant. I guess it's
depends on how long they've been going and for how long they've been counting.
yeah.
Because if they're counting with all the matches for their team, then my ELO ranking is a bit wonky.
Because
If you take this, my smart model team, I have win-loss ratio and 24 wins, 12 draws, 8 losses. I've beaten coaches like Papa Nasty, Jimmy Fantastic, and different things.
It's only giving you 1245.
Yeah.
Whereas my rating's is not much lower than that, and I've got a way worse win to loss record.
Oh, mine's terrible. My ELO is like 971.
But that also, like, are you in, which division are you in?
I'm in 3A.
Yeah,
right
so
now.
your ELO is based off who you play. So, like, naturally, your ELO is going to be much lower because you're playing coaches who have a worse record. So it's almost naturally going to be divisive between the divisions. Although I think it's also affected. I think this is this what they used to actually rank the divisions as well and decide which divisions people are in. So I have a feeling that
Probably.
there was a spreadsheet that was shown and it had points on it, and the points look fairly similar to the ELO ranking.
Yeah, so the question is how long it's been going.
Yeah. Well, there's no if you're doing it, if it's computerized and you have the entire records of Rebbl, then there's no reason not to do it forever. But so you're saying that maybe your early record is made worse by playing against worse teams? That should have an equal effect against everyone, if that makes sense.
Yeah. How many seasons old is your team, Conrad?
I think mine's the same as yours. I've just got more wins and losses instead of draws. No, I've played much more than you. I think I've played. I must have played a season longer than you, but without getting into playoffs.
Yeah, well, I was only challenger with this one.
But I wasn't.
Where I had 4 or 5 matches there.
Yeah. So your team is a season less than mine.
Yeah. This is my 3rd season with the team.
But yeah, it could be that there's loads of micro differences because of the teams you're playing, and it could also be that your opinion of Jimmy Fantastic is higher because we know he's a good coach, but his record in Rebbl might not be that amazing before. I know that last season he was.
Let's not go into my opinion about Jimmy Fantastic. That's a whole different
but no,
story
as an example, that wasn't meant to be specific, but as an example,
we can take against Papa Nasty.
Yeah.
Damn good coach.
Yeah, but he also is in Rebbl in Big O, right? And that's going to affect his records because he's playing against the Big O coaches. So there's going to be a whole segregated section of ELO over there that's only going to cross over when in playoffs and stuff. So you might think he is a good coach. He's in a smaller pond, and that might affect his ELO, which might mean that you get less of an advantage from beating him.
Yeah, it might be.
It's
fun to see to figure out how they're calculating this.
Yeah. Anyway, there you go. That was a bit of a deep dive into ELO. Oh, Wolfbuck says he doesn't think they used ELO for that.
They use something similar, I think. I don't know if it's the same.
And also, Gruff says he might buy some Brett stock. I'm sure that's insider trading, and I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to do that. Yep. Oh no, you're not allowed to buy your own stock, you're not allowed to. I can't remember what the rule is. There's definitely a rule about insider trading. But yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be some fun matches this week. It's always going to be fun matches, but I think, mine of course, and I think also the Goblins versus Vanguards and the Orcs versus Nurgle. That's going to be some silly games.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a long time to go though. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the method for sorting divisions, it definitely was simpler 2 seasons ago, because I remember them talking about basically it was Metal, Zord, and what's his name, Superfed, kind of sitting in a room going, should he go up, should he go down? I think they used more maths this time than before, but I'm not 100% certain. I paid a profit from Rammer's stock when I played him. Made, I assume that means. Anyway.
No, he paid. I think when you pay against somebody, if you have stock in them, because if you buy stock in somebody who's in your division, you have to play them at some point. And you might, if you get a profit to avoid this with insider trading and everything, you might pay a bit of the profit you gain from it to avoid you tossing the match deliberately.
No, he says I was right. It was supposed to be made. Haha.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So I guess that's it. We're done. It was only 2 hours and 20 minutes.
That's
it. Yeah. So I guess I'm gonna host someone. Let's have a look and see if there's anyone still. I was thinking. Yeah, Gruff's phone is stupid. With spell checker. Let's see if there's another Rebbl stream to hand over to, because I guess I feel like I should. But if not, I'm probably going to send people over to. Oh, I thought Space was doing a 24-hour drinking stream. Has he finished that? Damn it.
Yeah, I think, but it's Slade, the Black Mage, he's also playing in Rebbl, just not at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I'll host Slade. Give me a sec. He's hosted me several times before. Cool. Well, thank you for joining me, though, Aldar.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's fun. I do really like getting everyone on.
Yeah, getting a bit more insight into different things. It's always nice.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's opinion. I should have copy and pasted this. And thank you, Wu, for waking up very early.
No, I was only 7-ish. So yeah,
that's earlier than I failed to wake up for a recap that was organised last weekend. So.
And you still seem less sleepy than Core Night.
Yeah.
I technically only need like 4 hours of sleep, but I'm probably gonna go back to bed either way.
Yeah. I would say the same, but I'm going to play Imperium games now.
Fun.
All right. Cheers and goodbye, everyone. Okay, raiding and. Oops, wrong.